Hello, hello. I want to welcome you to MelodiMade YouTube channel. I am going to be doing a couple of things today, but I'm going to start with some of the exciting packaging that I got with Christmas, or when I was at families, I took theirs, right? So sometimes the packaging for your Christmas presents or electronics or makeup is so much fun. You can not only use it as the actual cardboard that it is, but you can use the colors for die cuts. You can use the base for journals and things like that. And there is some makeup and hair dye things here. Some purples, blues. Look at that beautiful blue. I am going to be using that in a future project very soon. Some gold lining from envelopes. This is fun. This is a corrugated, but it's a very fine corrugated. And I was thinking that I could tear this apart just even a little bit and get some of that texture. So we'll see how it works out for us. Then there is this palette, which I wanted to share with you guys because my jelly plating today is going to be inspired by this makeup palette. I purchased this. I asked for this for myself for Christmas. I was so excited about it. And now that I have it, I know that there's so much more I can do with it than just do my makeup, right? I'm going to use the packaging of all these little bits of it in a journal. I'm going to use the colors to inspire me for jelly plating today. And I just wanted to share some of the other things that I had gotten a hold of this season. And I'm looking forward to recycling, reusing this year, this month. However it works out, you never know. Alrighty, so I'm going to put all of this back into this bag so that I know where it is when I'm looking for it. I had taken it all apart and tried to get it all tidy. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the actual palette. So this is the At Forest Sight Raw Beauty Christie Color Pop eyeshadow collection. I tend to use eyeshadows that I get in some of my boxes that I'm not excited about in resin. But for this one, I actually was excited about it. I have already used it on my eyes. I love it. It's based on the colors of the Northwest, which I live in the Northwest. So some of these are not, you're just not really going to be able to tell just how gorgeous they are. But I'm using this as an inspiration for the jelly plating that I'm going to be doing. So there it is, At Forest Sight, Raw Beauty Christie. If you like makeup channels and you haven't checked her out, go check her out. She is awesome. So here's my jelly plate. I have cleaned it with baby oil. Got it moisturized, not too dry. Made sure to wipe that off, and that way it's not too oily. Kind of a balancing act. So what I'd like to do today is work with the greens that I was inspired by in this palette and just see what I can come up with, right? Just kind of a natural, outdoorsy, foresty, I don't know, nature. Nature, that's what we can call it. So this is a nature-inspired jelly plate session. So if you think of anything that inspires you when you're jelly plating or doing the art that you do, I'd love for you to comment in the comments. Now, this is a plastic thing that was in the bottom of a tray or something. I use it here, and I like to put it over the top, and then I grab something and I start to wipe off some of that. Usually, I do grab a piece of paper so that I have it on something that I can use again, like this. So this puts a really interesting pattern on there. There we go. Now go over a little bit, do it again. And then go up and up. There we go. So now we've gotten a pretty good sense of that one on there. And look, we got these fun little dots that can be the background of something else, right? Got to let that dry a little bit. While we're letting that dry, I want to add this really interesting. This is called yellow, but it is not just yellow. It's like a golden yellow, right? And so I thought this might be kind of a nice addition when you look at this palette, which of course I set somewhere where I won't be able to find it easily, but I did. Here we go. We have this golden yellow here. This is the fiddlehead green, which is kind of the green I have on there. And then I'm going to be figuring out an Emerald City. And then I did grab a couple of the other colors and some things that kind of inspire me from those colors. That's the thing, is I'm not actually just using those colors. I'm inspired by that is what I'm trying to do here. So I'm going to get this lightly so that I can just kind of bring in some of this yellow without overpowering my image, because that's just going to be a layer of color here. It is not necessarily going to be in any way the focal point of it. So then, though, I can come in with my Lego and put some dots into that. Let that dry a second or two or a minute. All right. Definitely need to let them dry a little bit. And or a trick you can do if you're careful is you can take and lay something down and lightly tap it just to get the wetness up, not take everything off of it, but just the thick dampness of it. All right, like that. So now I want to add another color, and I'm thinking about adding this nickel Azo Gold because it's really earthy. It's just so deep that I think that it might add to what I'm doing. So, but I got to be really careful with it because a little goes a long way, and it spreads out pretty thin and gives us just this beautiful kind of rusty. That's it. That's the color. Kind of a rusty, corroded feel. And so you don't want to overpower your image with it by any means. Now I can go back over with a different green, and I do have a lighter one that I could add to the situation. So let's see if I can get this off of here. The other ones didn't have a safety or safety seal. Let's check this out. Make sure we want to add it. We might want to do something else. So I was trying to find somewhere around Fiddlehead, but in all honesty, the stores are just about sold out of paint. There is maybe 10% of the paint in the slots. Everything is definitely running out. And then there's signs that say that everyone's painting, so we ran out of paint. So this is something that I used yesterday. I did a Gelli Plate session in my group, and I did pinks. So I'm going to use this because even if a little bit of this falls off into my project, it'll be okay. But then it will turn green, and it will give me green into my project. See there? So now we have many layers down underneath there. Lots of different things going on. But I am going to add some gold, and I have antique gold and regular gold. And let's just go for regular gold. Let's see if this is in still good condition. I've been told there's ways to make your paint back to working condition, putting Floetrol and other substances in it. So I just want to add just a bit. I don't want to take over what I've already done. I'm going to just try to add a little bit of texture. There we go. Couple lines. There we go. That'll work. That will work. Now, I can probably pull this off now. I don't know how well it will come off as far as all the layers, but let's find out. And I'm going to do it on this piece of paper that has wood on the back. So if I want to add this to a journal, I can. Let me move this a bit. Press down. Make sure your paint adheres to your paper. And then pull up. Awesome. Look what we got here. Isn't that fun? I like that. That would look nice framed. Okay, so let's set this one aside. And now that I've got some bits on there, I want to do this all over again. And I want to do a tree, a wooden tree. But I wanted to get some bits on there so that I had some more layers on top of layers, and really just had a lot to work with, right? So I don't know if this showed up that much last time, but I'm going to try it again because I like it, right? Because we like it. And there we go. Pick up that green from behind there. That's a very translucent green. I don't know how thick I'd have to put it on there to get it to look a little bit more opaque, but I do have other greens that I could work with. This is the hunter green, and this is marsh green, which is kind of the direction I was wanting to go, right? Like I said, you know, not elegant, but earthy. So that's kind of, so I'm just going to bring this green in. I'm not going to try to do full coverage again, just because I want layers to show in between. So there we go. And then what we're going to do is we're going to try this thing again and see what it'll do. Never know. Might do something fun. And I got this in packaging this last month. I was excited as soon as I seen it. Oh, looky there. Awesome. That's fun. Now we've got this yellow. We've got the Azo Gold. Let's do the Azo Gold. And see what we can. Come on. There's just a little bit left in this bottle. I use it sparingly. I do have another bottle, but I use it sparingly because it is an expensive paint. Very liquidy. Goes a long ways though, so it's all in, you know, what you're looking for. Okay, I think I'm going to put this right back over here so that I get my bubbles back. And right there, and a little bit right there. Ooh, I'm liking this, you guys. I'm really liking this. Very earthy, because remember, that's what we're going for. So this could go a lot of different directions and be beautiful, right? But what I'm going for is a very earthy, kind of natural forest look to go with my makeup palette that I'm so excited about. Okay, so let's get some yellow on here. Even could mix it in with that gold a little bit, no problem. Doesn't matter. Can't do anything wrong here. And now, check this out. Look how pretty that is. That's getting kind of pretty itself, isn't it? Okay, so I'm going to set that up there. I'm going to come in with this. This is my Legos. And I'm going to get some dots in there. Anything you can do to make more texture will make your project look that much more. I don't know if you want to use the word professional or not. Honestly, I don't know, but I do know that it will give you that pop that you're looking for. The technique, that's the technique you'd be using. Let's use this Verde Gold, green gold. Let's see what this adds, because I don't know. I'm testing things out with you guys, right? Something I do want to do is these. So maybe what I'll do is I'll grab that green and move it around with this instead of rolling it. And then that green will be a little bit more opaque because it will be thicker and blotchier. So there's some more circles. So I'm probably thinking I need to be done with those types of circles, but I do always like to put in a few. I don't know. Circles are my thing. Just in case you're watching me for the first time and you're like, why is she using so many circles? Because that's my thing. And I try to do this for the sake of enjoyment as much as anything. And so I love circles. Looks like I have one person watching. Well, hello, and thank you for joining me. This has been many layers in the making, and the one that I pulled just before this looked like this. And that's the one that just got pulled off of there. So then I was left with some bits and bobs in there that I am working with now, layering up. Very green. I need to bring something else in there is what I feel like. I feel like I already brought in the yellow. I already brought in the Verde. I already brought in the Azo Gold. So I'm thinking let's use the regular gold, right? Let's just see what we can do. If we put this over here. And then find something that we want to tap it on our just to add. I don't know if that's going to, I'll do some more, but I was just going to do this because I thought maybe it might add something in there. Layers, 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 ladies. That is the secret. Okay, there we go. There is quite a bit of that. Now I'm going to slightly and carefully just go over this and transfer some of that gold onto there, but not heavily, because then what it does, at least for me, is it will reflect off and you'll lose some of your depth, in my opinion. So let's find this one and see what we can do with this one. That gives us a little bit of a disruption in the paint. Does it actually say? It says mega blocks. That's funny. That is funny. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now I want to let it sit for a minute, because what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try. Oh, I was thinking about putting it on here. This is the tree that I'm going to be painting. But if I do that, I need more depth in there. I definitely need either light or dark, one or the other. So let's just go light, since I really don't want to darken it up any more than I already have it darkened. Let's put that over here. And maybe we can go ahead and use this. Put that in there. There we go. There we go. Boy, did I get my hands dirty with that one. But it was worth it, because it needed something a little bit lighter. It definitely... Now I'm going to do these so that some of the actual background will come out. Okay, so let's do this. I got a new bottle of my gloss medium. I'm going to pour that on the side here. And then move it all the way over. like that. Make sure that it's not too thick. It's important that it's not too thick. And then come in with the tree. Actually, I'm not loving that line right there. There we go. Okay. So let's try to get as much over here as we can so that I can still use some of that for something else. Right? Can do an envelope, at least one. So I'm going to press this down all the way to the edges. This is a wooden shape from the Dollar Tree, shaped in the tree, in the shape of a tree. Does that make sense? I hope so. All righty. So I'm going to make sure that all my corners and edges are pressed down. Then try pulling it up and see what I get. I'm going to see. Are you excited? Different. It could have been better for sure, but I think that's a good base, right? Let me set that aside really quick and let me show you what an envelope would look like coming off of here, because I think that will look just a bit better and you'll really get to see what we built up there while we were doing that. There we go. See all those different colors in there? Let me see if I can get it to focus. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and grab this corner and this edge so that they're not white, and then set this aside. Now, remember, we were using this for an inspiration, and I think it's not too bad. I think it's not too bad at all. Now I'm just going to do... Hi, Deb Farrell. How are you, sweetie? Oh, it's so nice to see you. I was getting a little lonely, but I was like, yeah, you know what? Sometimes it's the time of the day. I get it. I understand. But I still kept talking as if I had an audience. I never mind talking to myself, but there's a nice, just all those different greens with the golds and the yellow in there. Really deep, really just earthy, right? Okay, so I'm going to set these aside, and then I'm going to use this to pull off anything else I can get off of here, because there is definitely way more paint on here, and I don't want to lose it because I can sometimes tear it up for collaging. Look at that. There's the shape of the outline of the tree. There's that. And then we still have green on there. I just got to buff up the edges a little bit so that I don't have the tree outline. But I think I'll be able to work with that. So there we go. There's a nice page for collaging. Yeah, you just go full stream ahead. That's right, Deb. You know what? Sometimes people will show up later, and it'll be that they got to see what you were doing, and they certainly wouldn't have wanted you not to talk, right? Now, this may be a little gloppy. Nope, little, tiny bit. So I'm going to add this pinky mauvey color in here because it's in my palette. And Deb, I'll show you what I'm talking about here in just a second. Let me get this on here so that it can start to dry a little. And I have some green on my roll off over here, so I'm just going to go ahead and add that so that I'm not wasting any wet paints. So I asked for this for Christmas, and I told myself when I get it next year, I'm going to do a Gelli Plate based on these colors. Hi, Melissa. How are you, sweetie? Long time no see. So this is Fiddlehead. Now, these are based on colors from the Northwest by Raw Christie Beauty, and it's an eyeshadow palette. And when I get palettes in boxes and things, oh, thank you, Deb. I appreciate it. I'll just keep talking like as if because you're listening. I'll make sure and mention you. Thank you so much, Deb. I just so appreciate it. So I'm a little flustered. I just am getting back in my groove. You know how it is. It's like you get your groove back. But this palette, sometimes in in Birchie boxes and boxy charms, things like that. I will get palettes that I don't like that much. I will use them out in the resin shed. But this one I wanted specifically, and I wish the lighting was better, but you can kind of get the vibe of it. It's an earthy palette, and I'm using these colors and using this vibe. It is eyeshadow. Yes. Hi, Jen. So I use these as inspiration. Like I said, if I don't like the palette, like if I didn't buy it directly for myself, or I was given it, or it came in a box, I will use them in resin. But if it's what I like, then I'll use it on my eyes. But I am using it today as inspiration. I'm not using any of the colors actually in the paint. I'm just using some of the paints to match up with the colors, so that, because I thought it was so beautiful. And it really is inspiring me in a neutral kind of palette, right? So, but what I'm seeing here is there's a mauvey pink in there. So I've got that down. Then I've got this lighter green. Then I'm going to muss that up a bit, and we'll go in with this darker green. We've been using this quite a bit between yesterday and today, and it's working really well, really well. Just bubble wrapped from a container, from shipping, and it is doing a fabulous job. You guys, it's so sweet to see everybody. So I'm going to bring this green back in, but I'm not going to do it. This green kind of comes out transparent. So I'm just going to put it on there, not trying to do full coverage at all. It's going to land where it lands. I'm not going to fight with it. I'm not going to order it around. I'm not going to boss it. I'm just going to say, hey, you paint, do what you want and land where you want to land, because I don't want to force you. So now we've got some circles and we've got the bubbly texture. What I want to do is start to bring in some, like this stamp, background stamp is like a checkerboard, but tiny. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to go over the board with it and just get some background texture in there. All right, so there's that. And sometimes, like, you won't even necessarily see it up there. Oh, you do. Okay, cool. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes you can. We got to let it sit for a second. Let it, each layer dry. Now, this is going to get real muddy. This is going to get really muddy on me. And that's going to be okay, because I'm looking at it as a background, and I'm going to keep layering until I get something that pops out of it. Hi, Chris. So nice to see everybody. So, but I got to make a choice here. Do I want to bring in yellow? Not feeling it. This color would work, but it's going to blend in really well. This is the green gold liquid paint. There is the Azo Gold, which would bring in an orangey color, which I'm just not really wanting to do right this second. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with this gold and then add some hunter green. So all of that. You think you have that stamp? Yeah, it's a great one, isn't it? It really will get the job done on backgrounds. Give you a lot of texture in your background without saying Christmas, flowers, Valentine's Day. That's what I like. I like things that will make background noise. Like my Legos I use a lot will give me a background noise without it saying any certain theme. And it works really well in like steampunk or grungy. So those have been fun to work with. Now, so the hunter green is probably the one that I'm going to put on there lightly, but I got to figure out, do I want to stamp it on with something, or, which I might do. I'm wondering, I talk out loud like that. I talk out loud like I don't know what I'm doing. I'm wondering if I should. You're partial to the checkerboard? Well, then you know what? Let's do this. Let's put this out here on this thing. Because this is what I was thinking. My favorite thing is circles, but I like to do the juxtaposition between those two things. So let's try this. This is something that I found in the bottom of, I don't even know. It was some sort of refrigerator container, right? And it had this plastic thing in there. So I'm going to try to get some more checkerboard looks in there by doing this. This isn't going to be harsh. It's going to be light. It's just going to be, but it's going to also create like a square. It's unusual. You'll see. So you'll see that Yeah, it's weird. But and then I'm going to come over here, and what I like to do is go upside down the other way. So it will take some of that green, and then this will end up being somewhat variegated. You see that? So this is kind of a lighter green and then goes over to a darker green, where the green is out here, and then over here the green is inside of the little square. Just a different little different technique, you know, nothing fancy or fantastic, but it's variegated is fun. Variegated gives you something that's off, you know, like unexpected a little bit, like both sides are a little bit different. So I'm just taking off the really, really wet paint, and I like to do that on a piece of paper that I can just keep layering up on. Circles, swirls, and checkerboards are my faves. Yeah, like me. Oh, I'll tell you, I love it. So now I'm going to get the gold on there, and I've got to decide about what I'm going to pull this off on white paper or a background paper, or if I'm going to do envelopes, which I'm kind of tempted to do envelopes because I think something like this might look better on a smaller surface. Does that make sense? Like it would look kind of cool, but how cool would it look to like have half the envelope this and half the envelope that? So I got to be really careful with this. In fact, I think what I'll do is I'll kind of bring in some circles instead of rolling it on there, because what's going to happen is if I start rolling that, I'm going to lose some of my definition, and I don't want to do that. I mean, I would. I've done it many times, but I don't want to. So there's some circles like that. Here's some circles like this. This is a really fun technique to do, guys, with making the master boards for ATC cards. That's when this is fun, because you can almost see it all coming together, right? You can see, oh, this square will look like this, but yet they all have the same basic components in it. Pretty cool, pretty fun. Okay, so there's that. Now I'm going to just kind of bring in my edges a little bit. I don't know, sometimes I like to just frame it just a little bit so I can get it off of the brayer and bring a little bit of vignetting in. I don't know, it probably won't even show in what I end up pulling it off on, but that's just a technique that I like to do occasionally. So here is my envelopes. These are, let me show you, and I have a whole stack of them. I don't know if I got them with invitations or something and I used the cards for something else. This is about 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I'm going to definitely do 3 right up the center here because I want that variegated look. I'm going to see if this will work, because I might have to put, I better just do 2. I might have to put gloss on there to get it completely up, but I think I can get some of it up. Now this is how you know when you've bought something from me or been gifted something from me and it's the original, or if it's been printed out, is I roll the back of mine, and so that's the original. If you have them that they have the rolled on the back, then now that definitely needed to have. See there? Now watch this. I'll take this and I'll show you what the product is. It is gloss medium, right? And I'm not changing the color at all. I didn't add a color. I didn't take away a color. I didn't do anything. And it's so dry now that I really didn't even change the shape of it, you know, the pattern. So I'll show you this. So that's what happens. And I did. I got ahead of myself. I'm not going to act like I knew what I was doing. I got ahead of myself, and I tried to pull that up without putting more liquid on there, you know, something that was going to moisten it up. So it was very dry. So that's on me, but I can still pull up more or add more, but this will show you what that would have looked like if it had been done properly, like that. And that's very muddy. But from here, if it was the right situation and put into the right color scheme, the pattern is fun, that's for sure. So now let's do this. Let's put some gloss down on here, and then we'll just pull up the rest of this on top of these other ones, and then we'll do another little doodad. Did I show you that I pulled up the tree, the wooden tree? I got to figure out doing something like this, maybe bringing gold circles in. That's what I'll do. I'll do that when I'm done with this. I got to pull these pinks up because these pinks are going to be a little bit lighter. Little bit lighter. There we go. Roll, 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 roll your boat gently down the stream. And there we go. So this side we got more of the pink. It's very muddy, ladies. I do realize that, and I apologize. I don't usually do quite so muddy, but I got excited about that pink, and then I brought it up without making sure that the colors weren't going to be mixing to that level. And that's the way it works on the Gelli Plate sometimes, especially in the beginning of what you're doing. You're going to have seen somebody do something and think, oh my gosh, I want to do that. That was perfect and beautiful. And then you go to do it, and sometimes it's not perfect. But what I try to do is everything that I make, I try to find a purpose for it, even if it ends up being in the background of something, right? Let's say that a print wasn't beautiful enough to be the focal point of a project, but it might be able to be a background. So what I'm going to try to do is pull off all that paint on there, and a lot of that paint was dark. So this light green should pull it up and have some stuff in the front. Well, thank you, Chris. I definitely have a bit of a grungy vibe to me in my techniques, but I don't know. You know, everyone has the things that this is the kind of art that you don't think about a lot, mindless almost. Not in the very beginning. In the very beginning, you're learning some techniques and exactly how it works, because some things come up. Some things come up and you'll see what you were looking at. Other techniques, you'll see what was on the very bottom. So those types of things, once you learn that, then a lot of it is mindless and you just have fun. So let's see what comes up off of here. We had green, we had pink, we had light green, dark green, pink, forest green, everything in there. So let's see. Ready, set. Look at that. That's a stunner. I call these the money shot, because this is the kind of background that I couldn't have tried to plan to make, but it is stunning. Look at that detail in there. Those crusty bits on the edges. So basically for me, ladies, and I'm not trying to teach you how to Gelli plate. Gelli plating, I truly believe, is something that you do from your heart. You know what I'm saying? It comes from your own techniques. But I can tell you that you choose a lot of times to, if you have light bits on there, you can put a darker color down and bring it up. If you have dark bits on there, put a lighter color on there and then pull it up. And then you'll see the textures that you were creating through that whole. So that's the thing, right? Is we didn't realize what we were creating there. I'm just throwing down paint. I'm throwing down shapes. I'm throwing this down. I'm smearing it all around. But it's that last pull off of the board that you get to see all the work that you put into it. I'm so excited about that one. I am very excited. And there's still just a little bit more that we could probably layer up with. And I see some pink there and some green there. And I'm trying to figure out, this is the part where I just get, oh, what am I going to do? Because then I think, oh, I'll try to recreate something. Well, that's very rarely that I can manage that. I have very rarely managed to have something that I liked, that I was proud of, and then make it happen again. But I can tell you that I've had many times when I thought, oh, I'll never make anything better than that. And I did. It worked out. It all came together. A lot of times I find new things to work with, right? Like this plastic thing, or these bubble wraps. I have them in all different sizes. You know, there's the tiny ones. This one happened to be a big one. I got a new one that I'm excited about. Now, do you see how I got that texture in there with that Azo Gold? Now that's there. That almost looks like honeycomb. Ooh, I wonder if we should go up with yellows with that. Maybe we should just go another direction instead of we had some fun with the earthy stuff, right? Want to go a different direction. Leave it to me to just want to jump ship and go somewhere else, huh? But let's see. Oop, I don't want to put that on there. I only have this one yellow actually next to me, but I do think it would look cool. I'm going to put this on there in a way that I try to layer it lightly and not opaque, or I don't know if the word isn't opaque, not full coverage. That's what I'm saying. So I'm going to have my brayer. And this is the trick to everything, ladies. A good brayer, right? I can work with bad paint. I can work with a dirty Gelli Plate board, but a good brayer makes up for a lot of things. So do you see how much darkness is through there? I want it really thin and I want it patchy because I'm going to try to do this. I'm going to hold it lightly above it. And I'm going to pull it down on top of it so that it just barely pulls that paint off of there. You see that? Because I don't want a full coverage. I want it to just have parts of it on there. And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to fix where I see there's not hardly any, and then blur out where there's a lot. So that's what I'm going to do. So now we have the bits that were there first. Then we made a honeycomb by using Azo liquid gold, golden fluid acrylics, and bubble wrap. Then we put a little bit of yellow on there because that golden color and that yellow already is going to make a beautiful honeycomb feel. But this is where we have to start figuring things out. What are we going to pull it up with? Can't pull it up, and I'm just going to talk like I'm talking out to myself, ladies, but I'm telling myself in my head. I can't pull it up with the gloss medium because everything you see there that isn't colored is going to end up being white. I don't want it that white. So I have a choice here. I can either find a colored paper or I can pull it up with a color. So what I'm going to do, and I don't usually do this when I'm on YouTube, but I'm going to step away from the camera for 1 second, and I'm going to grab an off-white beigey color so that I can pull it up with a color that will go with what we're doing. So I grabbed 3. Light ivory, 2 darker color, and then this brown. Let's put these 2 together. Actually, the light ivory might work. Let's just put the light ivory with this yellow over here so we don't waste paint and see if we come up with a lighter yellow. I don't know. We'll put it together. We'll see. Maybe it'll be variegated. Right? Let's take and then here's another technique. Take your brayer and go the opposite way. Right? I had put that other paint on that way. Now go this way and then come this way so that your dark spots are on different parts of the board. You see how that right there, ladies, is already a pattern. I didn't have to grab anything. I didn't have to press anything. I just carefully used my brayer as a decorative tool, just like that, right? And look, we've already got, and remember, we might get lucky. Sometimes we don't, but we might get lucky. And those dots underneath there will show up really well. We don't know. Okay, now I have enough coverage on there. I feel like I could use this. Okay, and then I will pull it up onto a piece of this cardstock that I got so lucky. My daughter got a hold of 12 by 24 cardstock papers. It's huge. It's awesome. Sorry. Luravision. There we go. So I'm going to pull it up with this, which is a really awesome textured paper. So now I'm thinking to myself, do I want to put any more marks in there? Do I want to add maybe these tiny Lego ones, right? Like, I'll do it so you can see what I mean when I'm asking myself this, right? You're like, well, what is she asking herself? I'm asking myself that. Do you see those circles? Do I want to add those? Sometimes I do. Sometimes I don't. This time I did. There we go. So we've added those. Oh, this is exciting. I think it's beautiful. Oh, Deb says she's such a beginner with the Gelli Plate. This is great to see and hear. You're thinking, oh, I'm so glad, Deb, because honestly, I couldn't do it any other way. I couldn't do it. I practically do it just like this when I'm by myself. It's like I want to share why you do what you do, because it's like anything in life. If you don't understand why, then you don't understand. It's not intuitive on a Gelli Plate why you would choose to do certain things. It's just funny. It's a complicated little situation. Now, I don't clean this off other than rolling it. You've noticed that. I don't put it in water. I don't wipe it off usually. Maybe occasionally. I can't say never. I save these. Oh, come here. I save these because they are cool. I can make Gelli Plates out of them. I can do all kinds of things. Or ATCs is what I meant. So this is still dirty from everything we've been doing. Now we have this is my, I don't want to say secret. This is my technique that I've been using for a long time because I didn't always want to pull my print off with color. because it altered what I had created. So I used this gloss medium by the bottles. And the trick to it is, though, if you decide to use it, is if you put it on there too thick, you will only bring up gloss. You won't bring up paint. You'll have to do a second pull. So, and that may be okay. I've done that and it still worked out. And that may happen today. But do you see how it's pretty much the same as when we started? Or when we decided we were going to pull it off, like when we stopped doing techniques and stuff. So let's do this. Oh, I'm so excited, guys. I love it when we do these together because you guys inspire me to try new things. A lot of times when I do jelly plating with the group, I'll be like, what color should I use? That's always fun. Or what stencil? That's a hoot. And I want to get back to that stuff. So here we go. We brayered the heck out of that. Let me get you. There you go. Whew. And this is the way my hands look every time I jelly plate. And I love it. It's so fun. All righty. Here we go. We're going to pull this. Drum roll. Oh, didn't get it all. But look what we did get. Some spots on here are stunning. Some still a little too much of that pink in there. I'm pressing hard, Chris. I am really, see now, and I'll do it again. I'll grab another piece of paper from over here. I am going to show you. I'm going to take this, and if it's thick paper, I can really push. If it's thin paper, I don't want to tear my paper, but I have to make that paint want to absorb and attach to my paper. I have to warm it up. I have to, wrestle it, massage it. I have to fight with it sometimes. And you'll get what you get. It's just the way it is. You see? It'll do what it wants to do sometimes. But now, what do you think? Remember, we had greens and pinks. Now we have this gorgeous yellow on here. Gorgeous yellow. So we can go up from here. I brought a brown and an ivory over I could work with, but I don't know that I wanted to do that. I wanted to kind of stay in the greens. So, let's do the hunter green. Let's do the hunter green. I still have this. Yes, the bits with the yellow. So now if I come over, well, I need more. That's too dry. Now this will change the way it looks. It's not going to look like it's just yellow on top of green. It's going to form new colors and new shapes and things. But we're going to put the green on top of there and then start layering up from there. Get our color palette back to where I was working before. Let's see. So I'm always not enough space to move around in this area. But there we go. So this is what I call, it's not heavy coverage, but it's full coverage. I have covered the whole board with this color. See that? But it's not, I wouldn't call it heavy or full coverage. I wouldn't call it heavy coverage. Boy, take a drink of water so my lips don't stick together. I wouldn't call it heavy coverage because you can still see the plate and the other colors. But it is full coverage. So that's what I mean by the difference between covering it fully and then covering it slightly with a color, layering. So now we're going to take and bring this in because this made it really pretty. I liked what it did when it has, when you really work it in there and you get the next color up and then you put the next color down, it becomes a very nice lattice look. That's how we got this one, was because we did this particular little plastic thing in the midst of the layers. So see how I'm taking the green out, but there's still the green shape there, or the green. Actually, I could have done the variegated thing again, but it didn't work as well for me last time, so I'm kind of intimidated now. I'll be honest with you. I'm intimidated now. Alrighty, so we have our squares in there. We have our yellow bits underneath there. The yellow bits kind of absorb some of the green and become other types of colors of green. I really like this color in here, and I like this color. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll just finish off this bottle today. And this one it just really gives it some depth. It just makes it have, I guess depth is just really the only word that I need to use, but it just gives it to it, and I like it. But I try to make it blotchy, not full coverage. Right? I want to see how blotchy it is. There's some areas that's heavier than others. That's what I like. So now this yellow too is another option, and we could actually see if I can get this to do what I like to do, which is just have it sparingly on there, and then just make strange shapes and textures with it like that, almost like waves, maybe fluid. Maybe that's what I'm thinking. And then I can pull some of it back up, and if I don't like, do you see how that's kind of a line? I kind of like it, but if I don't want it there, I come back at it this way, right? And that takes that definition out of it. That may not be, you know, a good thing. It may be a good thing. It just depends on what you like and what you do. Let's bring the checkerboard back in and muss up that area. See what we see. Little bit. Oh, this is so fun, you guys. I'm just having a blast. So now let's pull it off with the lighter color this time. We've done it with a couple of different ways. Let's go ahead and just put it on here though, instead of on the boards. No, ma'am. The fluids are the golden green gold fluid and nickel Azo Gold. Those are the only two fluids that I'm using. They're very expensive, and I don't use those types of paints enough. Like I only use them to do this type of thing, and it's been working for me to just have those, and then everything else I do with acrylic. And I'll use the ones that are in a tube just as much as I'll use the ones in a bottle, but I do like the ones in the bottle the best. They're a little thinner. All righty, there we go. Now, the only thing I'm going to do now, because I really got that blended, is I'm going to put this on top of it just to give it even just a tiniest bit more. Not real heavy though. Light touch, pull that up, grab this, and push as heavy as I can. Because I could do that because I had just put a layer of wet paint on there. Otherwise, I would have needed to put the clear gloss probably. And we might not get the whole board. Sometimes having stuff left on the board, though, is what we need to make the future awesome prints, right? We've been figuring that part out, haven't we? We've been seeing some really cool. Okay, so I'm going to do this so that I don't have that. Those are really good neutrals right there. This is the fun thing, is that as you go with this, you start to see what really is a beautiful combination for a background. Because a lot of times when you get started with this stuff, ooh, a whole big drawer with it. Oh, long story. Well, I would love to see what you can do on a Gelli Plate with those. It'd be gorgeous. So lots and lots of depth here, ladies. We did it. Look at those greens coming out. The Azo Gold is in there. The Hunter Green squares down in here. Azo Gold. We get up in here. Look at all these rusty bits, crusty bits around the edges. Yeah, that's a really good one. I think that'll be my last pull, guys, because look, it's pretty well clean. Pretty well clean. So what I'll do is I will probably scan these in and make some sort of assortment with them for February when I come back to Keisha's Market. But until then, sometimes what I do is I I use them in my, you know, art and swaps and things. This is one of the other images that we made today. This is one that we made today. This one is really, really, really cool, corroded. And this is one. But my failures, and I'm not going to call them complete failures, my ones that I wasn't as excited about are these muddy envelopes here, although the gold popping off there is really kind of cool. You have two big plates, Deb. Oh, you're gonna love it. I'm gonna have to check out your. We should get on StreamYard together, Deb and Gelli Plate together. These ones are the green. When I was getting the green off of there, and I did a wooden tree, which I am going to. I'll do it really quick. I'm going to add some gold and maybe yellow. I'm looking at that yellow going. Maybe this gold isn't the one I wanted. This is the antique gold, but I can put a couple of these on there anyway. So, but I wanted to put some circles on here. Yeah, you can't even see those. But if I get this yellow over here, then I'll be able to see that baby from the moon. To the moon, Alice. Deb says, I'm using the ones I bought last time from the market, my current journals, and I'm like, oh, thank you. Oh, I do love doing this, you guys. This is something, I've been doing this for 2 years in Newbies, and I remember doing it the first 6 months, and I was so frustrated. It did not look the way I wanted it to look. I had to truly keep my patience and keep my, you know, not giving up, because it's not intuitive. You're not going to sit down with the Gelli Plate and make exactly, if it's your first time, what you think you want to see out of it. But there is a lot of potential. That would be fun. Deb, we'll do that this year. Okay, we'll you let me know when you're in a position to want to do that, and I will join with you. So that helps a little bit, but I'm going to do more to this. But I wanted to make this to hang up because I've got, let me show you what I've done. Yesterday I was doing blues and yellows. So isn't that amazing? That's when I really decided I loved that little square thing. But I also, and these aren't as bold as I want them either. I'm going to try to do something, but there's the blue and yellow star, and then the heart, which once that has a clear gloss on it, it's going to be a lot prettier. You can kind of see the depth in there a little bit. But anyways, this is the kind of things I'm doing with the Dollar Tree wood planks. So I'm kind of excited. So I've been testing out all kinds of different color palettes together. I'll be doing a collab on the 12th of every month with Crafting and Relaxing, where we work on blue things. So I'm excited about that. This is over a paper that I pulled things off with and just threw stuff on. This is a cast off, roll off. This is where I was pulling green up, and this is another roll off. And if they catch my eye, I keep them because there's a lot I can do with them, and I enjoy doing it. So thank you, ladies, for joining me today. And I will be back next Wednesday doing the same thing. And I am really looking forward to it. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.